write them down, posting them? Are the theories starting already? I hope so. When I get home, I want something interesting to read.
That would be tricky.
Oh.
Yeah, the thing with songs is you could take them literally or they are a metaphor for something else. And just like everything else we're putting out there, we're not going to say a whole lot about that song.
Okay, but is it literal or a metaphor?
Yes.
So, yes, okay. Okay, cool. Just two real quick questions. Is Joel dead? And when is the game coming out?
What was the first question?
Joel, alive or dead?
It depends on which point. Everybody dies at some point.
Wow. Hey, guys! Quick reminder of mortality, just in case you haven't thought about
the thing with, like, it's so interesting. Like, we always want to go into our games and people know that there's stakes. There's real stakes. And with The Last of Us, no one is safe. And we wanted people to go into Last of Us Part 2, especially with this theme, and what we're trying to say with this game is knowing that no one is safe, not even these two. And it's funny, like working on Uncharted 4, we really wanted to raise the stakes as well, but that game is much more lighthearted. So
wait, what?
We had to call it a thief's end and do all these crazy trails to get people to think, like, is it possible for Nathan Drake to die in this game? And with this, we released one trailer, Joel walks through a door and it's like, oh my god, is Joel a ghost? Is he dead?
Right? That's what I would like to know.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. No, it's good. So you guys are trying to be like the Game of Thrones of video games. That'll be great. Rip my beating heart from my chest. Well, that's enough out of Neil. Let's turn to you two. Thank you, Neil. That was great. Ashley and Troy, first of all, I'm a huge fan, and I know I kept it really cool in the green room.
You did?
Yeah, I know, right? Aha, it's all a lie. Yeah, wow, you guys, welcome back. That was awesome. I didn't know that. Have you both? Do you sing?
He's put out albums. He's incredible. If you guys haven't heard his stuff, you need to get it immediately.
That's cool.
I was gonna say download it, but you should go buy it.
I'm looking for the Joel character album. I'm looking for like a lot of like.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there too that think they would prefer that album. No, this was, again, you're gonna get this a lot through this panel. She and I are just gonna constantly throw this back to Neil. This was an idea that he
Neil,
had.
can you sing?
What was the question?
As far as like where did this idea come from to be able to sing? I mean, yeah, she has an incredible voice. Yeah, absolutely. She just doesn't let anybody hear it because she just keeps it secret. I'm out there just constantly trying to make sure people do. So that's the dichotomy between us. But no, this was Neil's idea to do this, and we've been anxiously awaiting this day. Both of us were talking about this. Like, there's this moment that we didn't know was going to happen. We walked out there, and it just, man, it hit me.
Yeah, that's real. Well, going back to the game, I just want to know, I know you guys can't tell us much, but in terms of emotional spectrum, like what was your reaction to walking through the story of the second game with Neil and everybody? How long did it take to do it? Like a month?
It's a 2.5-hour presentation. Yeah, so we were here last year, we were talking about how they both heard kind of a short pitch, and since then, our legion of concept artists back in Naughty Dog, we had a presentation that was like over 200 images, and we walked the team, including Troy and Ashley, through the entire story, beginning to end. I was pretty nervous pitching it to them.
How'd you feel returning to your characters?
So excited. For anybody who knows me, this game. Oh, I love you.
He doesn't know you. He loves you.
This game means so much to me, and just the experience that I've had on it, and the friends and family that I've made through this game, even outside of the game, it's changed my life. So, returning to this is just the best thing ever. Like, I just had, when we finished the first game, I was bugging Neil all the time, like, oh, is there gonna be a second one? When are we gonna do it? What's it gonna be about? So finally, when he, sort of gave me the pitch for it the first time, and then again, Hallie and Neil gave me the pitch, and I was just sobbing, and not just because I'm tears of joy, and just so excited to be back in it, and I'm so excited about this one.
Do you feel like playing Ellie has helped? Do you feel like it's had an effect on your personality, your perception of self? Like, are there aspects of her character that you wish you emulated, or aspects of her that emulate you?
That's a good question. Well, I actually feel like Ellie is the closest character to me as a person than anything I've played. I don't know if maybe that's why I feel such an attachment to it. I mean, but also because when you work on a video game, you're working on it for years, and it's the first time that I've had that experience before. But I don't know. I feel like through that time, it's impossible to not sort of weave into each other and become one.
Wow.
But it's a special and cool thing to work on something for that long.
So can you like shoot a bow and arrow super good?
Well, I can, but I actually learned after the game because some good friends of ours, Patrick and Jenny, maybe they're watching somewhere, maybe not. Maybe they'll see it later. Maybe they won't. Doesn't matter. But they're awesome. They're actually amazing. So we've been, they've completely taught me how to shoot, and turns out it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I love it. So I have my own bow now, and I love it, but that's just been, I think maybe I'm slowly melding into Ellie, which is a little scary. Probably not going to kill anybody, but who knows?
Yeah, let's
Still
just
time.
try and get through the rest of this panel, keeping that true. So then Neil's God, if you're slowly becoming Ellie. Oh my goodness. But I know we've been talking here, and poor little Hallie's been in the corner. So for those of you who don't know, Hallie Gross is now a co-writer, part of The Last of Us 2. Yay! But she comes from a background doing television. Some of the programs you may have heard of. Anybody here heard of like Westworld? Yeah. So yeah, how's that been transitioning from television, video games?
It's awesome. It's really been exciting. It's a whirlwind change. Ultimately, narrative is narrative, and that's really exciting, and dynamic characters are dynamic characters, but it's been really wonderful to get to work in an environment where you're not just building a story with other writers, but with designers and artists and editors, and working collaboratively to try and make the best game ever.
Yes, and it is, in my opinion. Had you played the game before?
I had, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons I took the job. I got this email from my agents being like, yo, Neil Druckmann wants to talk to you about a super top secret job. How do you feel about writing for games? And I was like, in all caps, just absolutely, period. And now I'm sitting here.
Wow.
After the first day, Hallie goes home and talks to her husband, and she's like, I think I got someone pregnant. And you'll see what...
That's it! That's it! So cool!
Fail states, I'm really proud of myself. So fail states are when you're in gameplay, and like I remember I was pitching, I have to be so careful right now.
Pitching something.
I was pitching just like a character having to go from one location to another in a space that the player will never have experienced before. And I'm like, okay, so this character goes there. And Neil goes, well, how do they know where they're going? It's like, well, what's the fail state? And I was like, in TV, we don't have to deal with these things. I don't know.
I still barely know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's just like you have to anticipate what happens if they don't accomplish
If the
the
player
goal.
doesn't do what you want,
Yeah.
then that's usually a problem with like when we have a bunch of like great story ideas and you're like, yeah, but what if the player doesn't do that? Then you have to always have ways to deal with it.
Oh, wait, so that way they die. Oh, good to know. It doesn't mess with how you interact with people, making video games and predicting actions. Long silence there, everybody.
Tell them how PUBG has affected your life.
Guys, I have a boyfriend. His name is PUBG.
His name is PUBG. I don't know what PUBG is either. I just like this game.
PUBG. You don't wait.
I'll learn.
It's okay.
I'll hear
We'll
a
get
little.
into it another time. You
Yes.
just murder a lot of people and it's awesome. It's fine. It's
So,
great.
comparing from the first game, we're going to talk about the second game. Compared from the first game to this one, what are the facts that we all know? We know it's been confirmed that Ellie is now 19 in the second game, correct? Correct. And then you also said that, I just feel like I'm personally interviewing this guy. You also said that the first game is about love, and this one is about hate.
Correct.
Cool. You want to like elaborate on that at all?
Throw out some more spoilers.
Well, we put out a trailer in Paris Games Week recently.
Oh yeah, oh my god. I assume, has everyone in this room seen that trailer? As Lev, Victoria Grace as Yara, and Laura Bailey as... Please sit wherever you feel most comfortable. Hi guys, thank you for joining us this week on Vague Discussions. I'm very glad to have you all here. Hi. Hello. Good. Hi. So let's hear a little bit about you guys. So is this your first time working in video games?
It is my first experience. Yeah, I've never done anything like this before. I've only been on one other show.
Wow.
You have experience?
I did one other video game prior in 2011, and I haven't done motion capture before in a video game.
Oh, cool. Yeah, dude. So, first of all, this is a pretty high bar to set to be thrust into this position. Last of Us Part 2. So, great first gig. But then, okay, let's talk a little bit about that. We saw that your characters are super, super physical. Were you heavily involved in the motion capture experience?
So I'm actually not a fit person. Like I don't work out at all. So that scene where Lev vaults over the wall, they had me like running down and jumping over a wall, and I remember Neil was like, "Can you do like a 5 foot or how was it like 3 foot vault?" And I was like, I guess.
You know, those are questions Neil asks everyone. When we met, he was like, 5 foot vault?
So by the end of the shoot, my legs were like trembling and I was totally sore the next day, so yeah.
So you enjoyed the experience?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you guys look related, maybe? Siblings. Siblings, in fact. Yes. Is that true, Neil?
That is true, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing is like Ashley and Troy and even Laura play characters that don't look like themselves. This is one of the few times we've done digital doubles, but because we knew these characters are siblings, we actually kind of blended their features together to like really make them feel like they come from the same lineage.
Yeah, I'm checking it out, and I think you guys did a pretty good job. Speaking of Laura, I'm sorry that Hi, how's it going over there? So you, I'm gonna refer to your character. I know we really don't know much about you, but I do know. Yeah, a lot of people call her Mystery Woman. I have a couple more names too.
I like it.
If we can get a picture of her, Lady Hammer. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The Gun Show. Yeah, call her that. And Casual Butch.
Oh, so that's nice. Yeah.
Do you feel charming, right? Casual. Yeah, right? Do you feel like since playing Lady Hammer, you have decided to work out more or less?
Oh, I fully started working out. Like the minute so actually, funny story. Last year, I was doing the Lost Legacy panel, and I was asked, "Are you excited? Did you see anything about The Last of Us? You're excited about The Last of Us Part 2? And I knew at that time that I was cast, and I couldn't say anything. It was awful. So I'm on the stage like, yeah, Ashley and Troy are just great. I'm sure it's gonna be fabulous. So yeah, I started working out like crazy because of it, and wow, I'm not anywhere close to the gun show, but
See guys, all of these work is.
but I am, trying to get there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's a beast, by the way. She totally has gun shows or gun shows.
It's all covered by this
So many
laser.
gun shows.
It's cut.
Oh, hey, Macarena, look at that. Wow.
Look at us.
Look at you guys. You guys are. So do you guys become a trio? Can I ask that?
I don't know. Can you?
I
Look,
can't
I
ask.
have special boots. I have special mocap boots, which makes my walk.
Oh wow, that looks so intense. I mean, so clearly your character is 100% a badass. right?
Yeah.
You confirm or deny?
I can say that, right?
Yeah, we can see that. That's incredible. Sorry, this is where myself as a fan, I get so caught up in trying to analyze the details. Look at that. So you've never done any physical work like this before?
No, I have not. It was definitely like a dream come true for me. Yeah, I've always wanted to do something like this.
And Neil, with these characters, can you tell us a little bit about what, I guess, your hope for them, if there is such a word in your world, would be as characters in this game?
There is hope. There are lighthearted moments in The Last of Us, but it's all surrounded with this other thing that we're trying to say. Yeah, even with this trailer, like we've been talking about this theme of hate, and you're seeing these two groups and how they're reacting to one another. And a lot of the story is this kind of about this sense of pursuing justice and the positive and negative and kind of like the really messy gray area that can occupy that. So we're seeing Yara and Lev belonging to this religious group, and they've left for some reason. And this circumstance of the scene has caused them to align themselves with someone that they would normally hate and see as less than human, which is Mr. Woman Guncho, whatever.
Guncho seems to be sticking. I really thought Lady Hammer would be going. Well, it's interesting because, here you have the infected, obviously, and you would assume that presented with a common crisis, presented with a common threat, there are kind of two ways that humanity can go. We can either be divided into multiple factions or be united as one, and then hopefully get to like the Star Trek universe, which is all I'm waiting for, really. But it's clear, after watching this, one of the things I was most excited about personally as a fan is that it seems like there's a cult aspect now. There's like a religious following. I don't know where the military's at. What are the infected up to? Still infecting the Fireflies? What's going on with them? Can any of those things be told to me?
Those are all things that in some way or another are in the story. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all there. Well, I personally am excited because I really do love a cult storyline. And just kind of like, the writing that goes into deciding that these people are good, these people are bad. Because no one believes that they are the enemy. They think that they are fighting for what's right. And it seems to me that, maybe it's a story of hate, but maybe it's also a story of perceived righteousness.
Well, so much of The Last of Us is the perspective of the group. Like no one group is bad, or one person is bad, or good for that matter. Like the ending of The Last of Us, spoiler alert, but there's a lot of people that see Joel as the villain or the hero, depending which side of it you're looking at. And that's kind of what we're trying to hit with this game.
Yeah.
Stop there.
Okay, let's talk about atmosphere. We have seen inside this trailer that it's very dark, it's very gritty. It felt, I don't know, you say there are moments of lightheartedness in the sequel, but here it seems like we're in a very wet, rainy area. Some might say Seattle. Is that true? They let me ask you.
Confirmed it. Yeah, we can say that. A large part of the game takes place in Seattle, which Reddit detectives have already figured out.
Man, that is so good! Look at this! We made it all the way to the West Coast. Do you guys come down to Cali? Little San Francisco, Los Angeles action? Is that where Joel's album dropped?
I was pretty bummed to find that, the whiskey was closed.
What?
Really? I thought that joke was going to do better.
We're in Anaheim.
You're still just like, Last of Us. These are the moments of levity he was talking about.
Amazing. Really good. It's interesting because I feel that I very much want the game to come out now because I have been a fan of it for all of, 2 years, so I guess I've waited. I haven't waited as long as everybody else has. But are you guys nervous at all? And maybe I just kind of want to ask each of you individually, when you go into creating the second half of such a large enterprise, are you nervous about the reactions that you're going to receive? Are you excited for that?
Troy?
Yes, sir. There's something that The Last of Us taught me is a story like this requires a higher level of trust and faith more than any other project I've been a part of, or really I think any other game that's come out for sure. And that's all the place that everybody who touched this thing operated in, is when I found out what the ending was going to be, I knew that people were going to be on one side or the other, and Neil knew that, and he and I discussed this. It's like, people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it, but what we don't want is for people to just be like, eh, and ambivalent. And it's the same thing here. If we go into this thing making this something that we hope that people will like, or that people will believe is as good as, or it's better than, or it still feels like, then we're not making the game that we're supposed to be making. So all of us are just kind of keeping our heads down and trying to tell this story, and we've told that story. And now this is where we are. And so it's kind of the same moment of walking out there. It's like, look, we're just going to be out here to speak truth. It worked out well the last time, and I think it's going to work out well for us.
16 and Lev is 13.
Oh, that's so sweet. Do you guys love being in that cult or whatever? Let's talk about your work as an artist. Do you love cults?
It depends which cult.
Depends, right? But truly though, what do you feel like is something that you have taken away from working with this character? Is there a sense, kind of like we were talking about with Ashley about Ellie, is there a sense of attachment, development there? Do you feel close, akin?
Like I said, I felt attached to her from like the very first time I read her character description, and I had no clue what the project was. There are aspects of her personality that I find similar to mine, and aspects that I really admire. And
An extremely high pain tolerance.
this is true.
Yeah.
And I was very excited to hear her story, which is absolutely very complex and very careful, very offbeat. But no, I was very excited to also have a little brother in the game, because in real life I have 5 older brothers, so this is.
Oh,
There goes Troy's career.
well, Troy, since you haven't gotten a chance to talk much on this panel, I guess I'm curious to hear about how your experience playing Joel has evolved. Can you tell me?
Man, I don't think, I look back at the person that walked in, and actually we were, as a goof, we were looking at pictures. If you don't do this, but I Googled myself last night.
Is this as I was sitting next to you?
Yeah. A little image search, and there's the guy that walked in circa, 2011, I think is when we started this, and or 2010, and wow. And Neil just took my phone and showed Hallie, and he goes, Joel. And it's a picture of me at the Final Fantasy premiere. Don't laugh, dude, that's not cool. Just pass that around, and everybody will
There's so much hair.
So it's Troy Baker 2011
It's
and Troy Baker
just,
Final Fantasy.
and
Just all the hair.
Hallie was the one that said that. No, you said.
No,
you said-
yeah.
I said MySpace hair.
You're like, man, you got some MySpace hair.
Neil, how do you feel about these guys and the way they've carried the second part? I mean, what you guys have gotten done so far, which is how much exactly? Just one question.
Yeah, so we finished a lot. So we've handed off a bunch of levels, there was a bunch of stuff being worked on. Yeah, we're like 50 to 60%. I don't know.
Hey, we can clap for that! You can't say percentages are vague, made up on the spot, but also we will remind you of that statement forever. But do you feel like, I guess for your vision of how the characters would develop, these guys doing an okay job, or?
Yeah, it's the thing that's cool with everybody that works at Naughty Dog and all these people here on the panel is they're bringing something new to the table. So yeah, we have a script and we have ideas for the story, but they're all making it their own. And right, if it's the background environment artist, it's the editor, it's the acting, it's the Gustavo doing the music. It all comes together to tell this.
Can we clap for the music?
You wrote it.
I'm not a big game. together, both are scapegoats. I will say, and I will tell you guys this, I have had the incredible privilege of seeing some of the game. Yeah, guys. These eyes, them peepers. And it has, I mean, I wish I hadn't signed an NDA. It has blown my mind. It has somehow simultaneously exceeded expectations and then set new ones. And I believe that we know a time and day you guys will be able to see that. Will we?
Why not? They're always trying to, like, it's important to, like, we keep people in suspense about what we're going to show stuff or not show stuff. What you saw, I'm glad that you liked it, but it's still very rough around the corners. We're working hard.
It was awesome. Rough schmuff, guys. It was awesome. Sorry, go on. But when will my friends here be able to do that too?
E3 2018.
E3 2018.